Hello, welcome back to the show. My name is Philip Dewey. I am the founder of Paradox, a paranormal research team based out of North Texas. Today, we're probing the idea of extraterrestrial activity in the United States and across the world. So, everybody, cover your holes and let's get this shindig started. Roll that intro. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm here with Mudrat and Renee, and today we are probing the thought of UFOs and aliens. And yes, I said probing. So everybody cover your holes and let's get going. Okay, so, the theories of UFOs out there are pretty rad. There's some that are really far out there. There's some that are pretty plausible. And we're going to get into one that's the more recent one, which is all about the autopsies from Mexico that have just come out where they found them in Peru.
Yeah, and they're supposedly over 1,000 years old.
Yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit later, but we're going to start off a little bit with, where the terms of UFO and like flying saucer and stuff like that really came from, and kind of give like a back history of the aliens.
So it's like the original of your thoughts of there's something else out there. On the original first sighting was in 1947 by a private flight person. Last name was Arnold, first name Kenneth. What he saw was 9 flying little crescent shapes in the sky in a V-shaped pattern.
Like ducks.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
just like birds. And that's just how it was flying. And when he was reporting this to his air traffic controller people, how he described it was people skipping, looks like saucers skipping on water. And that's how the name came from, flying saucers. Because that's
cool.
when all of the news articles, that's how they published it.
It was flying saucers.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, like
Full
you
of
said
tea.
in our former episode about when you are the first to say something or first to create something, you can
Exactly.
call it whatever you want, and it
You get to
sticks.
name it.
You get to name it, and
You
that's
get to name
literally
it.
what happened.
Very cool. That's pretty. I didn't know that. So
Yeah, and then where this sighting was in Washington State
okay,
in 1947,
nice.
and that was roughly, it was the same year of the Roswell in New Mexico.
Oh wow.
It was the exact same year of the sighting. This came
Nice.
first, and then the Roswell incident happened, I think, within a few months of this.
Well, maybe they got too sauced in their flying saucer and crashed in Roswell.
That's the theory.
What, you didn't approve that one, Chuck?
No.
That was bad. Dad joke.
It-
Dad joke. Your daughter would be proud.
Yes, my daughter would be proud. Dad jokes all day long. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows the Roswell. I think that's when everybody says anything about aliens in the United States, it's always
Area
Roswell.
51.
Area
Area
51.
I still think we should have done the run and gone through the, over the fence and everybody make a run. They can't shoot all of us.
Nope.
That was so insane watching that happen. People just camping, hanging around. There was hundreds of thousands of people there.
And then they all left.
They all left. They all left. They just got scared. It's like government just standing on the picket line with guns. And I'm like,
I mean,
nobody's going to do anything.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
who's going to be the first one to get shot? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see
Yeah.
who's going to be the first one to
Leroy Jenkins.
run.
You know?
Yes.
Jenkins. Or
Leroy Jenkins.
but yeah, so a lot of people think that the governments are definitely involved. I mean, we just recently had all the governments from around the world pretty much say, "Oh yeah,
Well,
aliens
yeah,
exist."
Yeah, I was like, for the longest time, they lied to us and said, no, no.
Nope.
And now, hey, they exist.
They exist,
But we're not going to give you this list.
Yeah, we're not going to give the list.
The list.
If you know the list, you know what we're talking about. Do you know, Renee?
Obviously, I don't know about the
Oh.
list.
Well, that's probably good for you then.
Yes.
You're still young, so,
Yes. So, So let's go into a little bit of the history of where the government kind of came in with the UFOs. I know you got some little bullet points. You
Oh,
wanted to-
dude, the only real, the first president that really had to deal with that, like televised and publicly, was Truman. I'm sorry, was it Truman? Yeah, it was Truman. And, of course, there's always been, every time a president does get it, they're like, oh, is he going to open the files? Is he going to open the files? Is he
Right.
going to put it out there?
Right.
But past that, yeah, the only other big thing is around that same kind of time frame, because it wasn't just the government. You also had J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He actually was sending out people like crazy trying to find stuff. Like in Oklahoma back in 1958,
Right.
Oklahoma City, there were so many reports of men in black after they had seen the stuff in the sky,
Mhm.
and he actually sent group after group of his people to go try to find something, but they came up inconclusive on everything. So
Yeah.
Or
Unfortunately.
supposedly.
Of course,
Supposedly.
supposedly.
yeah,
Inconclusive.
yeah.
But yeah, so one of my biggest fascinations is the Nasdaq lines or Nasdaq
Mhm.
lines
Yes.
out in Peru.
Mhm.
And just the idea, I know a lot of people are like, oh, they were used for irrigation, or they were used for kind of like people that were on top of mountains looking out and saying, oh, there's a hunting ground over there or whatever. So in case people don't know what I'm talking about, the Nasdaq lines are a group of geoglyphs that are huge, that if you're standing
Huge.
next to them,
Huge.
huge.
Whip.
Whipped cream. They're huge. And if you're standing next to them, you're never going to notice that they're there. But if you go up in an airplane, you're going to see these huge 2,000-foot geoglyphs that are put into a mountain or into a field or stuff like that.
Is that
you
by
can see.
man standard or female standard?
What do you mean?
You said huge.
Oh, I
just
don't
trying
know.
to,
I don't know.
You know.
We're not going to go into that part. But so the thing that I was doing a little bit more research on them today just to get some more, a little bit more factual stuff, and I did not know that in the year of 2022 that they have found over 168 new geoglyphs in Peru.
That is absolutely insane.
I am
By use-
today years old finding
Finding
that out. you
And they
know?
used technology's coming along, so they use a lot of LiDAR and a lot of AI to complete these, and it's a lot of there's one I had to laugh because they're like being all nonchalant about, okay, yeah, there's one here that looks like somebody in a field, then there's one here that looks like something, and then there's like, and then this one looks like an animal eating a person. And I was like, oh, so that's the one that they put to say, don't go here, you're gonna die. So
And who lives near there?
yeah, right.
Mm.
So my big theory, and there's a lot of people that share this theory. Sorry, I'm excited. I can't talk right now, but is that those are used as coordinate graphs from the Anunnaki when they came in. So whenever they come back,
What is an Anunnaki?
it's the presumed guardians of the sky and earth that were responsible for the building of our civilization through the Sumerians.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
And the crowd cheers.
Yeah, I got that too. So there
Yeah,
you
but
go.
it's late now.
But yeah, sorry. Delayed. So
Wow, they just keep going, dude.
yeah, there you go. That's a long. Okay, turn them
They
off.
like that one.
They like that one. That's my fan. That's my fan right there. They're one.
You had to have something, right?
So that's kind of my favorite theory when it comes into the paranormal is the
Did you mean
Nasdaq
UFOs?
lines.
That not paranormal.
Oh, yep, UFOs. I'm sorry.
I was like, get in the game, dude.
Get in the game. Get in the game. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite theories, and because I mean it's so tangible, like we were talking about last episode, is that you can actually see these, and the amount of time it took to make these for whatever reason they were. I mean, you could only really see the full scale of all these geoglyphs from the sky. You can't see them all the way from a mountain. You can't see them from the ground. So at that time when they made them, why were they making it for to see from the sky?
Well, that's like crop circles.
Yes.
You know, you on the ground, you're just like, who messed up my damn cornfield?
Yeah.
But when you're up high, you can actually see them. So
Yeah. And I think those are also, landing locations and like coordinate graphs for
Yeah.
people up
Well,
in the sky.
not all of them, because of course they've looked into them, and some of them you could definitely tell were probably done by man.
Yeah.
But there are the ones that, the stalks are laid over without breaking and so on and so forth. And,
Yeah, you
just,
can tell. There's been
yes,
different reports on different crop fields on essentially what's happening on the inside of the plant to make it how it is. And it doesn't match up with the weather, the rain. It's absolutely insane seeing the studies that they've done on that.
that is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And like we said with the people who go after cryptids and stuff, they are very
Hmm.
meticulous about their research when it comes into the UFOs, the scientific stuff that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even think that on a couple of those crop circle ones that they've actually found a whole bunch of radiation and stuff that shouldn't have been in the field, and that they're like, we don't know why that's got this amount of radiation here. So
It's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, and
I'm not eating that corn now.
definitely
happening.
not.
No.
Definitely not. So
Okay, I'm gonna eat it. I love corn. I'm not gonna lie. Elote.
elote. Who does not love a good elote?
That's what I'm
Honestly.
talking about.
So
Sorry, I took it to food people.
it's all right.
I'm fat.
So
That doesn't mean anything.
yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
everybody eats food, so
Sure.
yeah.
I'm still fat.
But I've never really had a full blown experience with a UFO or alien or anything like that. I think the thing that I can only think of is when I was in a driving trip or a road trip. Thank you, with my family.
I said it.
I know, I heard you. And we were out in the cornfields out in Iowa, and I looked up in the sky and I saw something that I thought was a plane, but as we kept driving, it kind of was staying with us. Airplanes kind of either go one way or the other. This one kind of just stayed right with us. And the lights that on the bottom were blue and green, but they were going back and forth like this on the bottom, like like a half circle. And then I tried to get my cousin to look at it. And when she came over and looked at it, she's like, I saw it. It just darted off.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's probably the only experience that I have that I can say that could have probably been a sighting.
Well, true. I could always give you the ET experience, and
Ooh. No, I'm okay.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
you said you wanted the experience.
What? But I don't want to get probed.
No, but bringing that up, I actually my one experience was not probing, but
It just made you think of it as
Yeah, it
soon
just
as
made
it's
you
like,
think of it when I said probing.
Well,
right?
exactly, it was the fingers, man. But no, when I was younger in Oklahoma, I swear to God, I mean, this wasn't like an elusive dream. This was like I felt it. I know, right? I was like, call me. No, my brother, we had a bunk bed, and he slept on the top. I slept on the bottom.
Okay.
And where we lived was very on just the south side of Oklahoma City, so like I could see the big buildings through the window. Of course, we had blinds,
Right.
but I saw a whole bunch of lights, like a bunch of lights. I'm like, what the hell? Woke me up.
Right.
I didn't think anything about it. I was like, wow, that was a lot of lights. Like in the city, maybe it was a plane or a helicopter. I don't think anything about it. Starting to go back to sleep, and all of a sudden, I just get this feeling. I look down towards the foot of the bed, where my feet would be, and I just see like this little finger come up, wraps over right in the other one, and another one, and as it's doing it, like it's putting the pressure on the actual sheet, so
Right.
I can actually feel it on my feet. And then, of
Wow.
course, finally after about like the third finger goes like that, I was like, "Ugh!" And it quickly moves down. I throw the sheet over my head, and I just kind of sit there for about 15 minutes, kind of look back over. I don't see anything after that, but to this day, I will tell you 100%. I was not dreaming. I felt it on my feet.
Yeah.
I felt it moving the sheet, and I almost peed in those sheets because of that.
yeah, no kidding.
yeah,
I can
I
only
mean,
imagine the
especially, yeah.
fright.
Being a kid and seeing something like that, I mean, it definitely would make
Yeah.
anybody want to.
Oh,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
There was no little light at the end of his finger either.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was very creepy. There was only 3 though. Little 3 fingers came over it. I mean, they were very long, kind of like the ET finger, but it
Yeah.
didn't have the light at the end. They were like gray.
Gray. So I was about to ask, Mike, knowing what we know now, would you consider, like, would you be able to classify the alien? Probably just a gray.
I try not to gender qualify aliens. I mean, that's just wrong. I don't want to throw colors at him either, dude. What kind of
Yeah.
show are we running here, sir? No, he was great.
paranormal.
He was great. You know, you got to remember it's still nighttime and it was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are still the ambient light coming through the window, but in my head, it was gray. It was
Yeah.
absolutely gray. You know, just the shades of it. I mean, now if we clicked a light on, it could have been like signs green for all I know.
Right.
But no, I'm pretty sure it was gray.
Okay. So let's go into you said like the three fingers.
Mhm.
Let's go into the stuff that's going on out of Mexico right now.
Yes. So with the 1,000-year-old mummy, speaking of which, how you were talking about with I'm going to say this incorrectly, the Nizak lines,
Yes.
that's where that mummy was found.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh.
That's where it was found.
I knew they said Peru,
Nice.
but I did not know that they were by the Nasdaq lines.
That's
Yes.
wow.
So
Wow.
that's where they were located. And so with the person who did the lecture of showing the mummies,
Yeah, I believe his name was the Jamie Mosan.
Musan, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So with this specific individual, I would take it with a grain of salt. The only study that they have done on the bodies is carbon dating.
Okay.
With the carbon dating, all that really means is that the compounds, the aging of it, it's 1,000 years. They did not find any unordinary compounds when doing the carbon dating.
Okay.
So that just means either it was there for way too long, it's soaked up into the soil. Who knows?
Well, now did they not do because I believe the Navy did the 3D or not 3D the X-rays where they got the bone structure? Did they do that?
So they did
Mm-hmm.
with the studies that they have brought in with the specialist.
Mm-hmm.
It's quote unquote, it looks like a mixture of different animal bones together.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Because when we go to that, I can see, especially
Yeah.
with the government coming out saying that all this.
Yes. So it's
We've still been trying to hide it. So playing devil's advocate. Now I know that they're trying to debunk it and say that, oh yeah, it wasn't real. This guy, he's full of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they've already been trying to hide this kind of stuff for years and years. So of course, when somebody finally has the balls to stand up and go, hey, here's the actual evidence, we're going to be like, no, that's not true. No, you're full of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't help with his case because the government, had asked for the bodies, to do a test on it. He gave them a different subject entirely, which the specimen is called Victoria.
Okay.
It has been deemed it is originated from Earth.
Okay.
Because I know the same guy back in 2015 had tried to bring forth aliens before.
Yes.
And they proved, supposedly, again, they proved that was actually just mummified children.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but at the same time with the, if you've seen the pictures of said alien, he does
I'll
have
put him up in the show.
Yeah,
too.
he's got like the three little fingers and whatnot.
It doesn't look right. It doesn't match up with what they're saying. So we need more reports. We need more information.
Well,
Sure.
and I don't want to go down this road of fake news type of thing.
Yeah.
But those who are reporting and showing this, some believe that they have an objective. They don't want to give you all the truth.
Right.
So again, it's like aliens, they're out there, type of thing. So,
Aliens.
you got to take it with that grain of salt. Maybe you believe, maybe you don't. Kind of keep your mind open. I wish we could get somebody that would just tell us straight and honestly the real studies, not just something where somebody's trying to cover it up.
I know.
Or,
That's what
I
I'm
just
ready
want it to be
for.
real.
Yeah.
So,
And there's a lot of people that are saying that the timing of it is just kind of
they're still waiting on the list.
Yeah,
And,
distractions, and
yeah.
all of a sudden, something happens around the world and everybody's like, oh, look, we found aliens.
Yes.
And so now,
Well,
there's
yeah,
that
but they
part of
say
it too.
they say that on so many things with the news. Like, hey, look at my left hand so my right hand can grab this or do this or
for
so on and so
for
forth.
sure.
It's
And that's
give them the
definitely a big
razzle
part of it.
dazzle, you know?
And I have a feeling now that the government, and I hope we don't get blacklisted and swooped up by the Men in Black after this episode comes out. But now that they've said that aliens are real and they have biologicals and they have
Mhm.
like machinery and UFOs and stuff like that and the technology, and now they're talking about, I'm not gonna wave the conspiracy flag hard here, but I'm probably gonna wave it a little bit. People are saying that the stuff in Maui was by a direct energy weapon. What's gonna stop them from saying
True.
that, oh, it was the aliens that used a laser beam?
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, can we talk about what happened in Maui? Can I get a brief summary?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, to a
I
certain
mean,
extent.
you know
because-
what happened in Maui? It's the big wildfires,
Oh, yes.
right? That destroyed that whole area.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people that have pictures and they have stuff that are showing a beam of light coming down into the forest, starting the fire.
Oh, wow.
Well, that, and then you take into aspect the temperatures
Yeah,
that melted, say, the cars.
Mhm.
You can see melted aluminum, but the asphalt underneath it
Perfectly
not
fine.
touched, which the asphalt would have melted before the aluminum would.
Like there's cars sitting there with the aluminum wheels melted and puddles of it running down the street, but the paint is still on the highway.
And then there's a whole bunch of theories where that this laser that was from sky would not shoot at particular colors, and all these places that were still there are painted blue and they weren't touched. Now that's getting into the conspiracy stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
that's,
said. We're not going to
that's
try to
nowhere
wave.
near
Yeah,
what we are supposed to be doing here. We're doing aliens.
But my theory, what I'm just trying to get at is, now that they've said that there's
Mhm.
aliens and stuff like that, what's going to stop them from saying something that was happened is now an alien attack? Because we also heard that coming out of Peru,
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
that there were aliens, but I think somebody said it ended up being some kind of warlord. But
I mean,
again,
it's Peru.
but then you don't know. But they said that they were fighting 6 foot tall armored aliens in the forests of Peru.
Well, and at the same time, they want us to believe them now that they just released, hey, aliens are real. For
Right.
how long did they tell us? No, they're not real.
No,
they're
not
not
real.
real.
Not real.
There's
Yeah.
nothing
Not
there. That's not true. Oh, by the way, it actually is
Okay,
true.
we're gonna
So-
come clean. It's like a toddler. Like, did you steal the cookie? No. Cookie crumbs all over the face.
Still has half of his hand.
Yes.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. After they finished the cookie, yeah, I ate that cookie. Chocolate all over the face.
Oh, I ate
But
that
the funny
cookie
thing,
good.
the funny thing is how society reacted when they told them. They're like, big press conference. We have biologicals of aliens and technology from the aliens. And they're like, cool, bro.
Where's the
I mean,
list?
Seriously, though.
I mean, nobody was like, oh my goodness.
No. I mean, dude, the society we have, movie shows, everything
Yeah.
out there. So at this point, it's like, yeah, the truth is out there. Yeah, we know now. Come on, let's move on. We're all starving. We can't afford our bills. Let's just move on.
Let's just move on. Maybe maybe we can start taxing those aliens to give us some money,
Exactly.
So,
We could turn into Star Trek eventually, where we're one big peaceful world and we're working with other
That would be-
universes.
I kind of like the Orville better. It's more,
It's comical.
it's comical. It's why, but yeah. So but yeah, aliens. The whole
Well, I'm sure, Renee. Well, I know you did a lot of study into
Yeah.
this. You've got a lot more information for us.
go for it.
Oh, goodness. That thought
Just
right over my head.
She's like, you put me under
Yeah,
fire
we
again.
under-
It's
Okay,
gone.
so we all know this.
She's bananas.
If we ask
Yeah.
Renee a question, she blanks.
Yeah, no. If it's got to flow, if I'm on the spot, I just go completely.
Well, okay, on
Nothing.
that note,
Yeah.
a lot of people with conspiracy, they do believe that there is something called the Majestic 12,
Right.
which the MJ12, a lot of people will
MJ12.
call it. And, they believe that to be, of course, kind of like the Illuminati, the big rich people that
Yeah.
power everything, bunch of rich white old guys.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately to say with that, they do believe that George Bush, the senior, because he used to be the former director of the CIA.
Okay.
And during his stint of doing that, a lot of alien stuff, in theory, was happening and being covered up. So
Yeah.
they do believe that he knows a lot more. And then back onto the president's finding out stuff. some presidents aren't even given the information. They believe he was one that did, but
Right.
like, Bill Clinton, they were like, no, we're not even giving him the file. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So that's, at least that's beliefs that are out there. Of course, they might actually start putting out all these files and stuff saying otherwise. I haven't read all of it. I just haven't had time to do that kind of stuff.
I
So.
will say a majority of the files that they have released, I'm saying specifically FBI, because that's the ones that I'm easiest to access.
Yeah.
Half of it's redacted, blacked out.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Welcome to the government.
Why's it got to be black?
it
Could have been whited out.
could have been, but that's how they chose to do it. But with just everything, there's nothing great. I wish declassified would really mean open access.
Yeah, see, that's where the Mexican government really stepped up with that one. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, hey, you guys want it? Here we go. This is what we got. This is what this guy says. Is it real? You guys make the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the
'cause
way
I
it should
know-
be. I mean, I really wish and I hope that we get more information and like more studies out of those specimens from Mexico, because it'd be really interesting to see. Because if it's just him making stuff up, he did a really good job of making something.
Well, and again, devil's advocate on that.
Yeah.
I could see where he wouldn't want to give those the two specimens he has up, because what's the first thing we're gonna do? We're gonna cut it up, tear it up, and then So if we debunk it, or they want to say debunk, you don't have proof anymore
of it,
because they
yeah.
just
Yep.
cut it up. I mean, the guy with the Roswell stone,
Yeah.
he finally caved enough for them to grind it a little bit to make sure that it wasn't paint or anything on there. But I mean, he was in tears when they were doing it, and I can understand that, because you don't want something like that being completely damaged, or lost forever because inquiring minds. So
Yeah. And I completely understand why he would give that specimen away and kept those two. But at the same time, it's just like, you got to give a little bit to get some more information.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Chuck, because, when people come in and they want to do all these tests, they're not going to take your personal attachments to the stuff that you found in the check. They're going to be like, oh,
it's for science.
it's for science, and you need to sacrifice it. And then they'll be like, oh, well, it didn't happen, so well, can I have it back?
It was like, here's your dust.
Here's the dust. Here
Speaking
you
of
go.
that, the university that was doing the studies on all this actually released a statement on some of the stuff that Musan had said,
Okay.
saying that was, hey, that's not the case. That's not what we said. Here's what we said.
Mm.
And that's actually publicly reported as well, and by the government officials too, that, with what he's saying is not the case, but the university is getting it out there in the open.
So they're trying to
Nice.
clear the air and make
Yep.
it. Okay, that's
Well,
good, though.
and of course, on his end, he's super excited. He's found something.
He's so
Right.
excited.
So it's kind of like that telephone game. Somebody
Yep.
tells you this year, and you pass to the next guy. By the time it gets to a certain place, it's turned into rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So
for sure.
But
that's what he puts out there because he's excited, and I get it. I get it.
Who
and-
wouldn't be, though?
Yeah. Oh, well, especially you have the chance to actually expose what the government's been
yeah.
hiding for years.
Yeah,
But
but he may go missing.
there's always, I feel like there is some truth to this, because with what you were saying earlier, with that area along that line, there could very well be truth to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, me and probably thousands of people are firm believers that all those geoglyphs were put in those mountains for when whoever, either the Anunnaki or whoever comes back, they can find where they're going just by the mountain. Because you have to imagine, we're talking thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Our terrain has probably changed. So if anything comes back, they're like, oh, look for
Well,
these lines or these drawings in the mountains.
Well, you got the lines, the drawings, you got great things like the pyramids.
Yep.
Things that from the sky they can see and they understand that. I mean, supposedly in Antarctica there is the largest pyramid yet. And what was the astronaut? He went to go check that out.
Not Armstrong, Neil Armstrong.
I can't remember, but he went up there and he got really sick. And then his only statement on that is, "We're in trouble."
That's right. He called it, "That's evil."
Or was that
that's
Buzz?
evil.
Was
Yeah.
that Buzz Aldridge?
That's it.
That Buzz Aldridge.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
And I mean, that's the kind of thing. And what have we done since then? I mean, it's Antarctica
Nothing.
with the technology we have. We should be able to go up there and check that out.
Well,
But we're
again,
not.
conspiracy theories. People say
Right.
that there's a wall and
Right.
there's land and civilization on the other side of
So
that
true.
wall.
So true.
You know, they've actually made a very large tourist attraction for people to camp. So there's they do a plane runway. It's actually black ice, and you can actually go and travel there.
Oh,
That'd be pretty cool. Road trip.
yeah,
Or
that's what I'm
flight trip.
talking about.
Yeah.
We ain't driving
Of course,
there.
after this, we may not have the chance to
Yeah,
go
we
to
may
it.
we may be blacklisted after my theories. I always have theories that make people mad. So
Well, yeah, I mean, we're still waiting on the Bigfoot ones to come in.
yeah, which
Oh.
we'll go.
Again,
take-
hate mail, Phil.
Put it in the email with Phil, you're an idiot, and I'll take it. But,
you always take it.
So one thing that we totally skipped over that I figured we would have talked to or about after Roswell is Texas has its own little Roswell.
Yes.
Is in Aurora, Texas.
Well, and see, that's where, say, the information that we have of the first recorded sighting.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, in Aurora, Texas, I don't remember the exact date.
I think it was,
I don't recall.
I know it was in 1889 or 1887 or
I
something
thought it was
that.
like 1896 or something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know that it was like 6 or 7 years before the Wright brothers actually did their first flight.
Mhm.
But, if you go to Aurora, they actually, on their little historical marker, they talk about the thing that crashed into this guy's farm from the sky.
Yeah.
And then they buried the ship and the entity or the creature, the pilot,
Yeah, the pilot.
in
with it.
the local cemetery there in Aurora, Texas.
You were right. It's 1897, April 17th, 1897.
Yes. And, and like I said, when you hear the dates, you're like, oh, okay, well, but then when you actually look into it and you think about it,
Yeah.
It's like,
it's before the Wright brothers did their thing, man.
Yeah.
So something
Yeah.
coming from the sky, that's like blowing your mind because you're like, what the heck was that?
And us now, we'd be like, oh, it was a meteor or it was something like that.
Yes.
But they found a body with it.
Yes. And
And it was inside of it.
they supposedly buried both, the pilot and the ship. And then they actually took a big sandstone and put it over it. And they carved all of the strange,
like the
insignias
hieroglyphs.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that were on the ship, on the rock. And of course, through the years,
People.
between weather and people that want
Yeah.
that little souvenir, especially, you got to remember that was long before like the 50s, whenever the height of the aliens and,
Yes.
invasions and whatnot.
Right.
So it became very popular for people to go there. So we do not know exactly where the spot is. They have a spot where the rock is sitting and they say it's supposedly here. But I also hear from somebody who grew up there that because that rock was destroyed, it's actually in a different part of the cemetery, where it's undisclosed now. And
Yeah.
where that rock is just kind of for people to come and see and go, oh, hey, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's a
and-
tourist
and,
spot. Hey,
yes.
take pictures.
Take
Yeah.
pictures because I think they named him Ned.
Yes,
the
Ned.
alien.
Ned the alien.
Yep. So if you ever go to Aurora, Texas, which is just kind of like right outside of Decatur,
Mhm.
they have like little statues of aliens and a big statue of an alien, and
Mhm.
you can go take pictures, and they have all that information there. And I thought that was pretty cool because I did not realize that until Chuck was out on a delivery,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Why do they have all these aliens over here?" So then we looked it up on our phone, and we were like, "Holy crap, we had an alien crash here."
Yep.
Or
They have
supposedly.
right as you're going down the main road that cuts through the town on the right hand side, or it would be the north side.
Mhm.
They had what looked like a giant starship.
Yep.
And or a big saucer,
Mhm.
and it says Aurora, and then they have an alien like waving at you in a giant chair there. And I'm driving by it, and I look over at that. I'm like, what the? And I actually, I back up, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So then we look it up and find
Yeah.
out about the cemetery. So I made a trip over there, and I took a picture of the actual Texas Historical
Right.
Mhm.
Society
The yellow
sign.
marker. Mhm.
And the historical marker, and then I made a pass through the cemetery, and there's a couple of historical markers there, but it's an interesting place. And on the paranormal side of it, we are planning on going there at some point,
Yep.
and doing like a little session, there in the cemetery. So maybe we'll get some from Ned. Of course, we may not know because they may really like clicking or knocking, and we have no idea what their language is.
Which is very cool because the one thing that we did not touch in on our hauntings episode is that you do have a possibility of a extraterrestrial kind of haunt.
Mhm.
And that could be, you know, anything from like crazy EMF stuff that's happening. And I'm not saying that everything's it's aliens, but you know, if you can't classify
demon.
it, if you can't classify, whoa, let's get Zach. But okay,
More hate mail, Phil.
yeah, more hate mail, Phil. But you know, there's things that you might not be able to explain on the haunting side of things, and that's something that you might have to take into possibility.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Of course, you know, going into that aspect, you know, as a alien or extraterrestrial, we don't know anything about them. So, I mean, maybe their spirit is actually here and walking around, and they, you know, we think it's a ghost. Actually, it's an extraterrestrial spirit because, you know, he doesn't know how to get back home. He got crashed here in the first place. He's like, son of a bitch.
and I mean, son of a bitch.
Maybe not in those words. It's
More like,
you know, whatever. Exactly.
from like Mars, like that.
Who knows?
Yes.
Yeah, who knows? So, I think that'd be really hard to investigate too.
No kidding.
You know,
Damn thing's not working. Why is it clicking? You know?
Well, I just get clicks and my EMF is spiked. and
Exactly.
stuff. But we plan on going out to either South or East Texas and trying to do some
Mhm.
UFO hunting and UFO sightings. And I would love to get out there in the Ute Basin in Utah.
Mhm.
And because we could do like two birds with one stone, we can do skinwalkers and UFOs.
Oh yeah.
We can go to that Ute.
Yeah,
Couple of Utes.
couple of Utes. Okay, my cousin Vinny. but
She doesn't know.
she doesn't know the
I
reference.
don't,
I
and
know.
I'm just like smiling.
You get you get the bra today. But I would love to go out there because again, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But have you ever seen the show Skinwalker Ranch?
I have not.
That's
I've heard
one-
of it, but
That's one that you definitely have to look up because again, take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of theatrics in the show,
well, yeah.
but some of the experiments they do and some of the stuff they get from said experiments are pretty cool because the guy who owns the ranch now is a really big business owner, and he's got a lot of money to throw at these
Oh, hell yeah.
experiments. So they're like up in the air in a helicopter going around the ranch with LiDAR shooting out of it,
Nice.
and they're catching stuff in the air
Mm-hmm.
like spheres with LiDAR.
That is crazy.
And then they're shooting like bottle rockets up with any kind of like equipment that can take any measurements, and it looks like it's going up, and it looks like it hits something and it ricochets off.
Oh,
It's
that is cool.
it's
I mean,
pretty cool.
With anything, you always need to go in with an open mind anyway,
Definitely.
because you're never going to
Definitely.
learn or see or accept anything if you don't have an open mind. So
That's very true. And like I said, you do have to take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of theatrics that are played in there for entertainment.
I mean, in our own little
Yeah, in
paranormal
our-
world, it
everywhere,
does-
everywhere, any kind of time, even when you watch us.
Mhm.
Take it with a grain of salt. We're going to try to be as real as we can on anything we do, but come in with an open mind. If you see something that you think we may be fudging, which we are not going to do, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, call us out on it.
Call us out on it, and we'll show you how we did it.
Yes, absolutely, in every way, because we're not bringing the fake. You know,
No.
our entertainment is purely just us being silly and
Us.
stupid.
Us.
Yes, we're not there to like show you something. Or like everything that we go to, like I'm so scared. You're not going to really see that from me
you're
at
not,
all.
You're not.
So
And I mean,
now you, maybe you know.
On the other hand, because it just depends. Because I'm like,
She's so scared.
She's so scared.
it just depends.
see,
Sometimes
that-
I really am.
But
and
see,
I'm
that's
just
where
like,
the entertainment comes in because you are scared. And we're like, hey, Renee, you got a solo.
Hey, we just found this spot that seems to be really active. So Renee, we're gonna put this camera with you in here, and we're gonna watch you squirm.
that'd be actually very amusing because
It
that's
would
probably
be.
what will happen.
Well, we'll be watching the other end of it laughing. So
But
Yeah.
not only that is when you get into those situations, that energy may transfer to something and may bring it back. Because if you're sitting there and you're completely calm all the time,
Mhm.
you're not giving off that energy that anything wants to pick up.
Yeah.
So when you get that nervous energy, sometimes that's the person that you need to send in there is that nervous energy person. But you have to watch. And this goes for UFO, cryptid, paranormal investigation. You guys got to watch your team's back.
hmm
I mean, if you send somebody into a cave looking for a Bigfoot and you hear a Sasquatch slamming somebody up against a wall, you probably might want to go help them.
Yeah.
Or call
Dude.
911.
Yeah.
Make sure you take your camera.
Take your camera, get it on camera.
Yes.
Yes.
Pictures, it didn't happen. You
Yep.
know, pictures or it didn't happen.
So on the alien aspect, I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more claims of actual encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very much so.
So-
This whole ordeal sparked a lot of interest in it again. And now everybody's just like, what's real, what's not real? And everybody's just searching for what they believe is the truth. And everybody's just like hunting and investigating. And I'm like, I'm ready to see what you find.
And that's what's beautiful about it. When the whole community comes together and everybody's like, "Oh, what'd you find? What'd you find? What'd you find?" As long as you're healthily doing it.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
again, devil's advocate. On the flip side of that, you got those people a little too excited. They're like, like we've mentioned in the other one, somebody passes gas and like, "Oh, did you hear that?"
It's a demon.
Exactly.
Or if it's a squeaky one, that door just opened.
Yeah, exactly. Just what's that smell? It's Bigfoot. Why the hell is he here? We're here with aliens. But yeah, because you got those people that with different. I don't like that look.
Hate email. There are people who think that Bigfoot and Sasquatch are aliens. I've seen that. I've seen that
Oh,
theory
really?
too.
Yes.
That
They're
you said,
lost.
you said that they,
Yes.
it reminded me that I did see a couple of theories of people saying that they believe, because at the time of sightings with Bigfoot, people have also been seeing UFOs.
Shooting stars and
So they
things
also,
in the sky.
So that is a theory that some people have, is that Bigfoot may be an extraterrestrial. Not my theory. Not my theory. Mine's better.
We're going to go in on another theory there. Some people believe, because throughout history and time, in all over the world, you can actually find like the hieroglyphs and little markings and things of things that appear to be alien-like.
Yes.
So a lot of people believe that they just keep coming back and checking us out, making sure everything is going the way it's supposed to, go, because they are, they have some sort of agenda that we are unaware of. People believe that, angels were actually aliens coming back. And then, of course, going even further into some of these, the beliefs and thoughts out there, they think, history is all repeating itself. Everything is happening over and over. So what we view as God is actually like the leader of the aliens. Then they keep sending people back to make sure that things are going the way it is. That's why people that get like deja vu. The reason why is because everything we're doing has happened before.
Right.
So, you're just seeing a glimpse or a clip of something that you've already seen 1,000 times over, because every, time just keeps repeating itself.
That's a very interesting theory.
Hate mail to Chuck on that one.
and then we actually evolve into aliens. So in reality, it is actually us coming back, checking on ourselves, making sure everything goes in line so history can keep repeating itself.
There is that video that I think that is 100% fake, but the theory of that video is pretty awesome. Have you seen that one where they're interviewing a green alien?
No.
Like whoever made it, it's a very good video, and it's creepy, and the alien's talking and he's saying like, well, I'm not from a different planet, I'm from Earth, but thousands of years in the future, and we've come back to rectify something that happens now, so this doesn't happen to you in the future. And it's a very
really
cool video,
cool.
but I'm 100% that it's fake.
Oh yeah,
But it is
But
a
it's the
really cool
theory
video.
that's
It's a
behind it,
very cool
though.
theory.
yeah. I mean, because it all goes into that, and like I said, it's that conspiracy theory or playing devil's advocate, throwing it out there. And just like when we die and we see that light, that's actually just us being born again, going back into that history. So that's why you also feel like, hey, back whenever I, in the Revolutionary War, I think I was there. Well, it's because you were, in your timeline, you got born into this time and then this time, and then it all repeats itself again. That's why you feel, in my past life, I was a woman, stuff like that, because it's just that where, everything repeats itself and it just keeps going. So,
And that's also kind of like why people think that we live in a simulation too.
True.
Because
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be weird if The Matrix was a documentary? It ends up being later on. We're like, whoa.
And this episode will play in that.
Oh, it would, bro.
Back then they called it out. They knew.
Called it. Remember,
they knew it.
On what is September 17th, I think?
You're right. Exactly.
We called
I've
it.
lost time.
We called it. September 17th. We called it.
Yep.
So, but okay, so that's our alien episode. I know we kind of get off rails. And there's a lot of crazy hate mail conspiracy theories that might be coming through. So
It's all right. Bring it.
it's all right.
Well,
so
with aliens, we all got to have the same information or at least get on the same page.
Yeah.
It's
for
true,
sure.
True.
for sure. So thanks for joining us. I know this show was probably a little bit more entertaining than factual.
Well, we threw
But-
some facts in there.
Yeah, there's some
There's
facts in
some.
there.
Presume facts because what's true today won't be true tomorrow,
That's
vice
very true.
versa.
Yeah.
That's very true. So
Everything's always going to be debunked. There's going to be reports coming out.
there's gonna
I'm
be
an
new
alien.
information.
Oh, yeah?
I
you
wouldn't
get
doubt
probed?
it, Chuck. I wouldn't doubt it.
No, I probe.
Because you are out of this world.
You know it. You know it.
Dad
That's a good
joke.
one.
That's why
That was
my-
a
That was a
good
good one.
Was
That's
it
why
did
my-
that
that
redeem
one.
me from the one earlier?
That was
My-
redeemed.
my
That was a good one.
Index finger is longer than the other ones for a reason. That's all I can say. Then I break up my dowsing rod.
Okay.
See you in the
That damn
shadows.
dowsing. See you in the shadows.
See ya.